This is Sniper signing in to Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 on the map Infinity Isle. Spawning on the left side, we have the yellow Soviets going barracks first into reactor. It is Dimon. Spawning on the right side of Infinity Isle, going allies with barracks first, getting those attack dogs out on the field. This is MohKohaji. I really hope I just said that right. I really do. I'm gonna be terrible. I'm gonna be a very apologize or real. Oh boy, I hope I said that right. I really do. Okay, so I totally did not just cheat or anything, but it's MohKohaji. My bad. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. My fault. It's been I just got back from doing a little bit of work, but here we are now. Oh, that's not good. Both war bears missed their little barks. Ooh. Ooh, fancy. Fancy dog micro. That was nice. That was very nice micro from our allied MohKohaji. It's very well played. Very nice. Very, very nice. The full wall off for Soviet player and for our allied player on those refineries. Just wanted to make sure that these prospectors can be kept safe just that much little bit longer. Barracks does get sold off in favor of an airfield for MohKohaji. What does Dimon have? He currently has a lot of conscripts and some war bears thrown into the lot. Back in the back, scouting attack dog, war factory on the ground, another reactor going up. Not really too many transitions on the cards right now for Dimon. May not really need them at the moment, but well, now that he sees that Vindicator, Dimon will likely start mixing in some bullfrogs into this mix and to help give it just that much extra sustainability. Gonna take this garrison structure right here, and more than likely we'll start burning down this oil derrick. This will be shut down though by this cryocopter Vindicator combo. It will very quickly be shut down. Peacekeepers will win out against conscripts very much. He got frozen like mid-roar, I think. Oh, oh, he's actually losing some of these peacekeepers to the garrison. That could have gone better. I would say Dimon actually kind of came out ahead on that one, since the conscripts are so much cheaper than the peacekeepers. Like, peacekeepers are something in the neighborhood of 250, I think. Apologize if I get that number wrong. So something in that range, and conscripts are only 100 for price. So that means that every time the peacekeeper goes into this garrisonable structure and knocks out the conscript, but knocks out the peacekeeper as well, mutual KO, that is a net loss for MohKohaji of about 150-ish. We have Dimon bumping the MCV up, wanting to take this high ground ore refinery. Has already expanded out to the water, and as has MohKohaji over on his side of the map. Is he moving his MCV? There it is. He's moving it now. MohKohaji's moving his MCV now, going to be aiming for this high ground expansion now that he's secured the area. Going to be much mirroring the actions of Dimon. Dimon is trying to get just a little cheeky, using a peacekeeper to block the deployment of that ore refinery, as likely force Dimon to be producing something else, and that something else is a super reactor. Still sticking with the warbear conscript combo. These conscripts, this is where their advantage against the peacekeepers comes in, since their building clear can be done from outside the structure. And what do you know, if those Molotov cocktails actually hit the peacekeeper, it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. Bullfrogs catching out a cryocopter, that's not good. Ooh, and it goes down. That's what, 1,600 worth of loss right there. That's really no bueno. That is really no bueno. I have a Tesla coil going down to guard this naval expansion. Battle marker, just a warbear running into the base. A couple of warbears running into the base, getting shot up by that multi-gunner turret. Riptide ACV taking the field. Instead of seaport, that is a seaport. We have a seaport from MohKohaji set up and established. And we do not have any such activity from Dimon. However, Dimon is going for that airfield. Will likely be aiming for some twin blades and or MiGs, as both of them will be helpful in this situation. Probably the MiGs first, just to help get some of that air superiority, help lock down the skies so that these Vindicators can't continue doing Vindicator things. They have 2 Dolphins coming around, which I would not be surprised if those, we have some parachuters going in on Dimon's, MohKohaji's base, but yes, there it was. The 3 Vindicators were used to bomb out that Tesla coil, so now the Dolphins may harass this Harvester or Collector unopposed, and will likely get it even with that Mega, oh, well, not anymore. I do not believe they'll be getting it anymore with the arrival of a Twin Blade, but that Apollo Fighter will very easily cover those Dolphins. Does get 1 Dolphin down, however, trades a Twin Blade for it. Ooh, that's very clever. Pro tip, guys, if you have an air unit like a Twin Blade, or if you have a Twin Blade that's getting shot up by an Apollo Fighter, then tell like an anti-air unit such as a Bullfrog to move into the Twin Blade. Tell the Twin Blade to say pick up the Bullfrog, and the Twin Blade will land on the nearest accessible point of land or water, or where the next like playable spot of ground under it. It will land, and then it will automatically go to the ground, which means it's out of the range of the Apollo Fighter, which is very, very handy. Honestly, I honestly don't think I realized that for quite some time. I'm not sure if I realized it to this day. I don't know. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. Looks like we do have a naval yard going down for Dimon, as well as this refinery here, wanting to go ahead and get this operation online, get some naval power out to challenge the production of MohKohaji. MohKohaji has we have some battle markers over here. Prospector going down to these 4 Twin Blades. Twin Blade harass, very powerful, very useful, especially whenever your allied opponent does not have any Apollo Fighters. And the best anti-air he had, oh no, I'll take that back. Curse of the commentator, right when you make an announcement or a declaration or a proclamation and say somebody does not have something, he winds up having it. But in this case, it is no longer he has, it is he had. Got absolutely shreked by those Bullfrogs. Ripped right out of the sky. Had a little bombing run from those Vindicators, most likely. We see them here coming back to get some ammo from their bombing run on that refinery. I have a couple of units moving out down here. Some hydrofoils. I wonder, what is he? He has some Dolphins here as well. Just doing the little jump, the little high jump, just for style points or something like that. Surprisingly, Dimon still holds this garrison. That was certainly interesting. Being able to hold this garrison that long is certainly not something that I had expected. Continuing to move around the south, we have the 2 Dolphins along with the 2 hydrofoils, and we have continued Vindicator bombing runs on this refinery. MohKohaji most certainly wants this refinery to be taken care of. Continuing to move these Bullfrogs back up, wanting to get them back up to the front line, just in case those Vindicators fly across the middle of the map, see if they can catch something. But over here we have some Dolphins moving in to harass this Ore Collector. We'll get it, no contest whatsoever. It does start producing out of this naval yard. Not too sure how much that's going to do, but back here we have double naval yard going down, or trying to go down. Looks like Dimon is in economic dire straits right now. Oh, no, he has these naval yards paused. That's what it is. They're paused. But here in the middle, we do have an engagement here in the middle. Flak troopers tearing apart the Allied vehicles. The Allied vehicles just tearing apart the Soviet Twin Blades. And that's a fairly mutual whoa. Okay, conscripts getting into the base, lobbing their Molotov cocktails all over that refinery. Vindicators doing their best to take care of them using some stop micro. Prospector coming out for the crush move. The Bullfrogs did that. That's very excellent. Sending out the Bullfrogs to using their man cannon ability, launching these flak troopers and conscripts down here to attack this part of the base directly. And we have Stingrays making landing. we have Dimon Stingrays moving onto land, mopping up. It looks like we had Dimon has an Akula sub hounding the water. Looks like it did clean up this expansion over here. The Dolphins and the Hydrofoils did clean up that expansion for Dimon on the water back there. Looks like the Soviet infantry have been cleaned up. Riptide ACV, between Riptide ACVs and the multi-gunner IFVs and this group of infantry, that is more than enough. Looks like MohKohaji does have 3 cryocopters, 2 of them over in the yellow health. Not very good. Gonna want to see about that. Cryoblast does come down and does freeze that one collector, but the Vindicators are running away. Currently over here we have another Vindicator being engaged by that flat cannon. The cryocopters were forced to retreat, but they do still make it out alive. Vindicators come back and do snare that collector, which means now Dimon is on 2 base refine. He's on 2 base economy essentially, or 2 harvester or economy. Now 3 since he just rebuilt this one and got this refinery back to work. I don't want to be careful though, is we do have a heroic dolphin out here, 2 heroic dolphins out here on the water. We got to be very, very careful about those. Stingrays, they do catch and engage this hydrofoil. Looks like the cryocopters are coming back, wanting to pick a fight with some of these guys over here, but the concentrated fire is not on point for Dimon in that particular engagement, so the cryocopters do get away relatively scot-free. What do we have on the front lines? We have some cryocopters flying around, likely going to be looking for some repairs. A little group of infantry and some Guardian tanks. And meeting them on the Soviet side, we have a line of conscripts and a secondary line of flak troopers. Wow, Dimon really loves his Soviet infantry. That is for sure. Most certainly loves that Soviet power of the infantry. Just kidding. Soviet infantry really is not the greatest in the game. However, it can still be very useful and very effective, simply used by the right person. Looks like we will have a naval assault moving in from the water. We have 3 Stingrays moving out, sprouting their legs, covered by the bullfrogs, which means those cryocopters won't be able to do anything whatsoever to stop them. We have another group of bullfrogs escorted by a twin blade. I would really... Oh, we have some Tesla troopers coming out now. All right. That's not something that you see every day. We have some Tesla troopers coming out now. That'll be very, very handy in dealing with the... and here we go again. You see Dimon pulling the micro, where he tells the unit to board the twin blade. Where it lands, it dodges death by not cryocopter, Apollo fighter. That has to hurt. 2 Tesla troopers getting taken out by those Vindicators. The Tesla troopers are not cheap. No questions asked. They are definitely not cheap. And I would imagine that all this continued spending can't be making things very easy. We have an orbital dump coming down, does take out a power plant, a bunch of walls, and damages the refinery. However, these Guardian tanks do force Dimon's forces to pull back. Seeing 3 shrunken Stingrays, just something about that just makes me happy. They have 1 heroic Stingray though, and that will be very, very handy should he decide to try and do a beach landing. Come back, say he could come back over here, target this power plant. This power plant is fairly exposed. Could come in, target that down, take it out before those other forces could even respond. But here we go. We do have a tech up to max clearance from MohKohaji. We have a Athena cannon on the map. That means we have that tier 3 on the allied construction yard, and we have 1, 2, 3 Athena cannons already out and about on the map. Does have an extra airfield slot, could fill that with another Vindicator, or if he's feeling really gutsy, could fill it with a Sentry Bomber. Here we see the Aegis Shield ability from the Athena cannon going down, timed very well to soak up all of the damage that would have surely killed 1, 2, perhaps 3 IFVs. Very useful ability for saving your buddies from being annihilated by a Soviet twin blade. Ooh, the Athena cannon is just... The Athena cannon will milk these stingrays. They are not very fast at all to get away from this sort of thing and to dodge it. Wait a minute. Dimon has 3 build queues. I totally did not register that when I first saw the extra Crusher Crane. Totally did not register that. But he does have 3 build queues, and that would explain how he's being able to keep up so easily. Dimon does snipe down MohKohaji's oil derrick right there. Denies that extra 15 cred every 4 seconds-ish income. Not that it would make a terribly large difference in the immediate aftermath. However, the longer the game goes on, the more that effect will be felt. Athena cannon already targeting down that refinery, forcing the cancel from Dimon. And right now, the game's hit a little bit of a stalemate, per se. Neither side's really wanting to make too big of a move against the other. Yes, Dimon has a pretty crazy big twin blade squad. That's definitely the fear factor for MohKohaji. Moving in with what he has just simply would not be a good idea. But here we go. We have some sentry bombers taking the field. And just as I say that, we have a move in on the northern beach for MohKohaji. All the twin blades are moving in. The heroic stingray is about to get taken out. Is the heroic stingray goes down, gives an elite veteran C rank off to that guardian tank. And the twin blade squad does have to pull back due to the massive influx of anti-air personnel on this area. Sentry bombers on the field, going out and carpet bombing that refinery. Just gets completely bombed straight out of existence. No hope of surviving. And what is Dimon's answer? What is Dimon's answer to the sentry bombers, to the new influx of aircraft? What is Dimon's answer? Well, that's probably his answer. Look, try and poke, get some weak spots in with the twin blade squad. Twin blades got to be careful though, because if those IFVs sniff them out, then that will certainly spell demise for several twin blades if those IFVs get a hold of them. Do have a combat marker over here. Looks like an aircraft did go down. Looks like it was a Soviet twin blade carrying a combat engineer that was trying to sneak into this area. However, it did not work at all. That would have been interesting. Where did he get a combat engineer? Did he? No, okay. He didn't sell his MCV. Maybe he built it somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. But Dimon has teched up, gone to tier 3, gotten a battle lab. So that means now potentially Kirovs could be on the cards, or Dreadnoughts from the Naval Yard, which this could possibly be a Dreadnought. With how slow it's built, he could also be cast stalled. Possibly be cast stalled. I would not be surprised if this is a Dreadnought, and it's a Dreadnought. Now we have a Dreadnought out on the field, and we have some bombardments against these Athena cannons. They're gonna go down if they sit still for too long. That Dreadnought will become invaluable. Does tiny Dreadnought. Dreadnought was shrunk, but over here we have a Dolphin. Good play from MohKohaji, making sure he's sending his units anywhere and everywhere, always trying to get some of that harvester harass off. Do have a beacon coming down. It would have been very nice for Dimon if MohKohaji had just gifted him those units, but he may want to move what stuff's there. This is a level 3 orbital downpour. It does wind up wasting a tank, some infantry, and one of the Athena cannons. Sentry bombers are trying to move in, but they just have so much stinking health. One of them does get taken down. No, he will not dive all of his MiGs for the second one. He might have been able to get the second one, but that would have been all of his MiGs destroyed. All of Dimon's MiGs, that is. Heroic Athena cannon over here. Good play on MohKohaji, shrinking it so that it can actually outrun the Dreadnought bombardment, making sure to keep that thing alive, as it is very useful for later in the game. Right now, there are so many multi-gunner IFVs on the field that I personally think a hard transition to vehicles or using Tesla troopers with good air cover could potentially do it. I would love to see Dimon do something here with this group of Soviet infantry with the bullfrogs, perhaps load them up, get into the main cannon, but hold on. Whoa, just as I say that, MohKohaji's navy has just sprung out of control. It has just popped up and it said, you know what, you two can play at this game, and we have some powerful navy too. It does look like the Dreadnought was sunk. I think that's his little body down there, or its hull down there at the bottom of the sea. Whoops. Mouse spazzed out ever so slightly. 3 aircraft carriers and an assault destroyer out on the map. That is an insanely deadly combo. Having those aircraft carriers out on the field, it is just, those things they have so much range. But I do see something. I see a Natasha on the field. So what is that going to mean for the Allied Navy? Natasha does have a pilot snipe ability, which will clear out a... Whoa! Okay, Dimon, where did you build those? Vacuum imploder and an iron curtain, both down. So that will certainly change things, but we'll have to see how that goes down. We do have some 4 Kula subs, along with a single solitary Stingray, engaging the Allied Navy. There it is, pilot snipe in action. Natasha swam up and sniped the pilot of an aircraft carrier, because aircraft carriers only have 1 pilot. Snipes the pilot, and now if Dimon, or not Dimon, if MohKohaji wants that back, he'll have to invest either 500 in an engineer or 1,000 in a spy, some kind of infantry that can go out onto the water and capture it. The remaining aircraft carriers will certainly be a problem. The assault destroyer count is rising. I see 5 assault destroyers, 5 hydrofoils. You toggle their weapon jammer, that could get deadly. But now we have the Twin Blade Squad. The Twin Blade Squad is spotted by that shrunken down Riptide ACV. Oh, Dimon, move the Twin Blades. There you go. You don't know what's in that Riptide. Could potentially be some infantry looking to do some sneaky shenanigans. Oh, does friendly fire his own bullfrog? That's not good. However, now we have the bulk move out of Allied infantry and vehicles. That Cryogeddon does catch a good deal of conscripts. Well, not a good deal. It catches a handful of conscripts along with a single Tesla trooper. Not moving forward now. Oh, okay. Now this is gonna be where things get seriously very dead. If MohKohaji loads peacekeepers into all of these IFVs, or at least some of these IFVs, that's really and truly all he needs to do. And just suddenly, that's lights out. That's easily going to be... Oh, but the Kirov airship coming in. It's a good thing he didn't put them. And V4 rockets have taken the field as well. Kirov airship coming down. All the Allied units hiding under that Aegis shield. The Kirov will go down. However, it will do some pretty impressive splash damage to everything around it. But since those shields were up, looks like the shields did tank a lot of that damage. We have Dreadnought bombardment off the shore. We have another Kirov taking the scene. 3 V4 rocket launchers. If they are using their cluster warheads, which I think they are all using cluster warheads. If these are in critical mass at this point, and just absolutely shreked those cluster warheads as we have an orbital downpour coming in right now. But it's not going to catch anything, I don't think. No, everything's going to be outside of its range. But, however, we do have some naval engagements going on. Looks like the Allied Navy is starting to move up. Looks like he did reclaim at least 1 aircraft carrier, but another one got sniped. Then perhaps Natasha did wind up going down. Twin Blade Squad mopping up a harassing unit back there on Dimon's water expansion. Dreadnoughts doing Dreadnought things and bombarding MohKohaji's refineries from offshore. Now, what is MohKohaji going to do? He has 2 assault destroyers and 3 aircraft carriers. Make that 3 assault destroyers now and a handful of hydrofoils. I would love to see this assault destroyer come back towards this seaport, get some repairs on the cards, and so that he can make sure all of his units are at full health. You know, this is actually interesting. MohKohaji capped the central observation post. Now, granted, it is being bombarded. Oh, Iron Curtain. Iron Curtain used to keep these dreadnoughts alive. That's very, very useful. And if I were Dimon, yeah, there it is. Flip on their secondary ability as long as they're Iron Curtain and just let them rip away at any poor fool that happens to be in their line of fire. Just the sheer volume of rocket. Well, maybe perhaps that was a little much of an overcommitment, but he does. No, that is going to go down. But there are coolest subs here to cover their escape. However, I did notice there are allied super weapons down on the bottom of the screen. I did see that, but we'll come back to that in just a minute. Big cryogeddon going off here. We have Apocalypse tanks on the field. Kirov taking to the skies. So many multi-gunner IFVs. Cryocopter's going to lock down the Apocalypse tank, so it will be insta-sniped. Twin Blades forced to fight. Kirov still up at about half health. We do have an aircraft carrier on bombardment scene to the south of Dimon's shoreline. We have cryocopters being chased down. One does go down. The other two do get away. And in the center, it looks like the bulk of the IFVs were cleaned up. I only see a small handful of IFVs left. I see about 4 so far. Yeah, just only about 4 IFVs together. However, but those two right there, they're doing work. They're putting the work in. They're cleaning up some Soviet twin blades. So we do have another Apocalypse tank taking the field, and that Apocalypse tank is just the definition of Soviet power. Looks like possibly another Dreadnought went down. No, I think it was just bombing of the first run of the aircraft carrier. Akula subs engaging assault destroyers 2v2. I do believe that the assault destroyers would lose that fight. The assault destroyers are generally pretty bad versus other navies, but I do have the aircraft carrier support with them. It looks like they saw that Kirov that survived. It made a beeline for the Chronosphere and the Proton Collider, and it got them both. You can see the remnants of the Proton Collider's gun right about there. So that means I would imagine the Proton Collider was here, the Chronosphere was here, and the Kirov just went in and just went ham and bombed everything. However, it does look like the Soviet Navy has been pushed back. The assault destroyers making ground and cleaning up the Soviet naval base here. However, V4 rocket launchers are bombarding from the shoreline. We have a heroic aircraft carrier. There he is. Heroic aircraft carrier dropping those red mushroom cloud bombs, just as you see there on that V4 rocket launch. We have another elite aircraft carrier here. Dimon will be sure to not let that go. Heroic. 2 heroic aircraft carriers is very, very difficult to stop. However, he does have a Proton Collider. I see a prime opportunity. If these things stop, when these things stop to bombard, I see an opportunity. He does have a random terror drone back there. Not entirely sure why. Perhaps just an area scout. Apocalypse tanks do get shrunk, but Vindicator does get shot down. Oh, Proton. We have the vacuum imploder. Vacuum imploder imploding everything over here. Pulls stuff in. The Apocalypse tanks want to be careful that they don't go in there and get pulled into their own super weapon. Do get back to full size, immediately shrunk again. But we have iron shielded Apocalypse tanks. Oh, Chrono Swap. Ooh, we have a Chrono Swap out on the field. That is certainly interesting. 2 cryocopters there, and we do have 1 aircraft carrier there, 1 aircraft carrier there, and another aircraft carrier there. Good play on MohKohaji, keeping them split up so that they are not all easily picked off back to back to back. Tiny Apocalypse tank is trying to pick away and see about nabbing that heroic multi-gunner IFV, but it's just not going to happen. We do have a super reactor being forced to be sold off because that explosion would have taken out this reactor, and this. It would have damaged that heavily, damaged that heavily, and damaged that heavily. And that is something surely that Dimon would like to avoid. really right now the only threat, or not the only, the biggest threat facing Dimon are these aircraft carriers. If these aircraft carriers, oh, wait, dolphin, oh, dolphins can cleanse a terror drone. I actually did not know that. Hey, you learn something new every day, guys. Every single day. A dolphin's supersonic weapon can cleanse out a terror drone. MohKohaji being forced to destroy his own hydrofoil, as the terror drone would have just simply killed it anyway and moved on to another target. Dimon, he is slowly but steadily being picked apart by these aircraft carriers. These bullfrogs would do well to get over and to start trying to shoot down some of these allied attack drones. They give away just absolute tons of EXP, or inveterancy, for the units that shoot them down. Continued bombardment by the allied aircraft carriers on the Soviet base is just, it's going to take its toll. Does wind up taking down the Iron Curtain. Vacuum imploder will surely return soon. Well, not vacuum imploder, Iron Curtain. Vacuum imploder, it will surely be its their next target, which it indeed is. We do have twin blades forcing the pack out of the allied MCV. Responding multi-gunner IFVs will drive them away. And vacuum imploder is down. We did get to see a vacuum imploder go off on this one. We did get to see it. That's good. Another terror drone coming in and infecting a hydrofoil. Now, those dolphins can and will cleanse it, but oh well, they tried. They would have gotten it, but the damage was indeed done. A small little force here in the center, Athena cannon, several multi-gunner IFVs, 2 of them heroic, and the game just drops out right there. Okay. Well, I do believe that it is safe to say that Dimon, I would think that Dimon left the game at that point. Just couldn't really hold up against the scrutiny of those aircraft carriers continuously bombarding from the waters as they were. Those aircraft carriers were just slowly but steadily picking apart the Soviet base, and the Soviet player, Dimon, just didn't have quite the units that he needed to respond effectively. Let's take a look at that resource graph. Looks like Dimon was ahead steadily most of the entire game. Starting at about 8 minutes, you see some slight deviation begin, and going as the game continues to go further along behind these super weapon icons. I would imagine Dimon is still ahead and maintains his lead, but even with the economic lead, MohKohaji was just his navy, the Allied Navy, wound up proving through. Aircraft carrier and assault destroyer combo wound up breaking the Soviet lines and handed the victory to MohKohaji. Personally, I think that what really did it for Dimon, what really did him in, was when he lost his naval foothold. As soon as that naval foothold was lost, just bam, that's it. That's GG right then and there. Because from that point forward, he no longer had an effective counter, an effective or realistic way to counter what MohKohaji was doing out on the waters. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. And this is Sniper, signing out.